Here's a little bit about emergency medical technicians from Group Pink 4D. So, becoming an emergency medical technician does not require an extensive amount of education compared to many other careers in the medical field. All states require that you have a license, though the type of license can vary state to state. Most states require EMTs to be certified by the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians. There are 3 different types of emergency medical technicians. The lowest level is the EMT Basic. The education and training lasts 3 weeks on an accelerated basis or 8 to 11 weeks part-time. This requires a certificate of completion, which includes 6 credit hours, which covers the basics of critical care. In training, these people learn how to handle emergency situations, complete patient assessments, and use field equipment. Some programs require you to be CPR certified before enrolling, but others include it in the training. The middle level is the EMT Intermediate, which requires 30 to 350 additional hours of training, which varies by state. The highest level is the Paramedic. The additional education and training to become a paramedic can last between 6 months to 2 years. Paramedics must complete a 2-year degree at a community college or technical school and must also receive clinical training in hospitals and ambulances. The largest employers for this field are other ambulatory health care services, which employ 119,420 EMTs. The local government is second with 67,000 EMTs employed. Every location has a demand for EMTs and always will. They most often work in ambulances and hospitals. The average annual salary for an EMT is $32,670. There is not really room for salary growth unless you increase your training and become a paramedic, which can increase your salary to between $40,000 and $70,000. EMTs can also work overtime to make extra money.
Since EMTs can work almost anywhere in the country, there are not specific costs of living that can be attributed with being an EMT. However, these states with the highest average salaries for EMTs are Nevada, Washington, Maryland, Alaska, and Delaware. The need for EMTs is growing much faster than the average for all other occupations. It is projected to grow by 15% from 2016 to 2026. The turnover rate for EMTs is 10.7%. This means that EMTs are either leaving their jobs or being removed from their jobs to be replaced by new hires. Most EMTs work full-time. This includes weekends, nights, holidays, and 24-hour shifts. They work in both urban and rural settings, attending to anyone living in those areas that require their services. They can also work for practically anywhere that provides rescue services, such as private ambulance services, hospitals, fire departments, etc. They also work relatively closely to other healthcare professionals, such as nurses, physicians, and even firefighters and police officers. However, a large disadvantage of being an EMT is that they experience a much larger than average number of work-related injuries or illnesses. This may be due to the extraneous driving that must be done to get patients into a medical facility as soon as possible, and the small cube of air that they must share with ill patients who are possibly contagious. The job is very fast-paced, stressful, and puts constant pressure on its hires, since someone's life depends on their actions. EMTs must respond to emergency calls to provide efficient and immediate care to the ill or injured person. They must drive to a given location and use the most expeditious route to get there. They are responsible for transporting the patient to a medical facility safely and keeping them in the best possible state throughout the ride. They must understand and determine the extent of the situation in order to prepare the health professionals awaiting the patient at the medical facility.
While it is not required to join a professional association or union, there are national organizations that many people choose to join, like the National Association of Emergency Medical Technicians and the International Association of EMTs and Paramedics. These allow an EMT to have more local authority but with a strong national community standing behind them. If you don't think being an EMT is for you, there are many similar health professions, including physician's assistants and registered nurses. Almost 2/3 of EMTs are male, but no matter if they are male or female, they pursue this career to help others. Here is what some students from the Association of American Medical Colleges have to say about being an EMT.
As someone who enjoys working in fast-paced environments and finds fulfillment in being of service to people who truly need it, being an EMT would be something that would fit my work style because of the speed and fast thinking needed for the job, as well as the aid provided in the job. But as someone who also desires a structured normal workday in terms of the hours I'm working, being an EMT might pose difficulty because of how shifts can sometimes be overnight or 24 hours long. After completing the necessary training to become an EMT, I would envision a starting income of around $33,000. I would also expect to be adjusting to the fast-paced and unpredictable nature of the job, as well as the unconventional hours. I would also expect myself to consider getting more advanced training towards being an EMT intermediate or EMT paramedic. I would envision myself to have a raise in income to $40,000 to $70,000 annually. As someone who is interested in leadership opportunities and rising in my career path, I would also predict to have completed the training and education necessary to become a paramedic. I am someone who enjoys working in on-hands types of environments, likes fast-paced situations, and loves helping people in need. For these reasons, I think I would find pleasure in being an EMT. Moreover, I think my passion for these elements that make up so much of what an EMT does would thusly aid in my performance in the career as well. Since I am someone who likes to prepare and plan for all situations, I would be concerned that I would encounter unexpected situations since EMTs, like all medical professionals, face the potential of having to treat patients in unexpected circumstances. Though I am confident that my training would prepare me to do my job well, I would still be nervous in unexpected situations, which could have a negative effect on my job performance and success.